Welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show brought to you by Salvatore's Pizza. I'm Jeff D. Veronica on our special tees hotline. Steve Bradley joins me now. It's Penfield boys soccer. And guys, off to, as we record this, middle of the week, a 6-0 start. Joining us, Coach John Cotsonas. I'm going to say Joe Vogt. Joe, you changed your name. Joe Vogt.
Yeah.
Not Eric. Is Eric your dad?
Eric is my dad, yeah.
Okay. And Tahj Mounnarat. Hi, Tahj.
How's it going?
Fantastic. So, John, if I had told you 6 months ago these guys would be 6-0, did you think that they'd had it in them?
We could possibly be thinking that. Our division is a battle every single year. It's the same group of coaches, the same group of kids that these guys have been playing. If you would have told me we would have been 6-0, I might have shook my head a little bit and maybe not thought that we'd been 6-0. We had a lot of experience coming back, and our JVs were 10-1-3 last year. So we thought this would be a good group coming together to put that mix of guys who've been up with us for a while with that nice sophomore/freshman group. So we knew we would be competitive. We didn't know we would be 6-0, definitely.
Tahj and Joe, you're both four-year varsity players. I'll start with Tahj. What does that experience bring to the table, especially during such trying times where things might not always go as planned in terms of scheduling and the season, and there were a lot of hurdles that had to be overcome. How important is to have that experience and that unity as a team?
I think it's really important to have all that experience, especially because in times like this, I think we got to get the younger guys ready and prepared to go when we get on the pitch. And I think the jump from JV, modified, and all those other teams to varsity is really huge. And just having those 4 years helps get our guys ready.
Joe, you're an experienced player too. What lessons have you learned in the past seasons that have helped you carry over into this season and be a leader for your teammates?
Really, starting as a freshman, you kind of you start from the bottom, so you learn you're picking up the equipment at the end of practice, so you learn all the hard work, and then you start to get older. You start to become more important with the team, and now you're a senior. It's especially this year, and we're really happy to be playing this year. Some places aren't playing, so we're just really happy to be here, and we got to make the most of it while we're at it.
John, why don't you tell me about these guys, their strengths as soccer players, their strengths as leaders, where they fit into this team?
Well, Tahj is from a big soccer family. His two older brothers have been players for us. His older brother, Steve, was an AGR player for Coach Butterworth a while back, and his older brother, Tyler, was with us as a 8th grader and then went away to the academy for a little bit. Tahj brings all those qualities. His dad has been a coach in our youth program, in the Rangers program for a long time. So Tahj is our center midfield guy. He's probably one of the best assist guys in the area. I think he's got 6 right now. And not only is he the glue in our midfield there, he and his partner, his other attacking midfield partner is his brother, his younger brother. So there's that family bond right there up the middle of the field. And those guys kind of set the table for us, get us going, work really hard with Zach Randall, who's one of our senior players who plays in the defensive center midfield. So Tahj is like that calming influence. He's the little coach on the field. And he and Cristiano work so well together in the middle. And he's had that experience. And Cristiano, even though he's a sophomore, played as a freshman with us last year. We've got guys like Shane McMillan, who's a 3rd-year varsity player, Eric Martin, who's a 3rd-year varsity player, and a lot of guys who've been around. We've been young for the past couple of years going through, and Tahj and Joe are just kind of, doing what they normally do, and those guys kind of follow along with what's going on. Joe's our center back, and this is his 2nd year as captain. He's played all over the place with, I think it's Rush now. That thing has changed. GPS, it was GPS. Tahj is in that program too. So these guys have played, big matches, whether it's in the youth national championships. Joe's been overseas and played And I think the last time I was trying to think of this before, the last time I talked to you, it was because of the McQuaid game a couple of years ago that we upset McQuaid, and Tahj had like the game tying assist and Joe had the game winning goal. So, when those guys were sophomores and they're just leading by example on the field, and they kind of just calm everybody down. And with all that experience, they make great decisions out there for us, and that leads us in the right direction.
Coach, you set this next question up perfectly, because that McQuaid game, that was a huge victory for your program a couple of years ago when you were the younger team and there were higher expectations on your opponent. Now, guys, going into sectionals, you guys will be a team that a lot of people will look at, and soccer being such a fickle game where one bounce can change the outcome. What do you take away from that game now as seniors, and the message that, you were on the side where it happened to somebody else to maybe not have it happen to you?
I'll start. I think like when I was a sophomore at that time, when those goals happened, that game happened, it was all crazy things. A lot of stuff was going on. But I just think you got to know, like when I was a sophomore, like I always wanted to prove myself to the older kids. And that was well, and there was a lot of good players, and I really just wanted to. So I think there's going to be a lot of young guys that are also going to want to play up to us. So I think we got to be ready for that.
We're talking some Penfield boys soccer. Let me ask Joe this one. You guys winning in soccer is one thing. You beat Rush 6-0 and Schrader 7-1. You guys, and you got Hilton coming up. You got Fairport again, Victor and Rush again. Are you guys playing some of your best soccer right now, Joe? And if so, what does that mean? What does Penfield soccer look like now? You've outscored foes 24-4.
Yeah, we started the season well. I think in most of our games we scored within the first probably 10 minutes, and that's really important. And every game I think we've gotten a lot better. We've scored more goals, and I think pretty much every game than the one before that. And we play a pretty possessive game. We like to keep the ball. We've got Tahj and his brother are probably some of the best passers of the ball in Section 5, and then Shane McMillan has scored 6 goals in his last 2 games. So he's scoring a lot, and we just keep giving them the ball, letting everybody else do their thing, and good things keep happening. So we're just trying to get better and better coming into sectionals.
John, what's your message going to be to the team heading into sectionals? Because, it's a crazy fall. It's different. If this were a normal year, we'd be looking at sectionals starting next week. The guys have said that they're glad to be playing, but that chance to win and build on the Penfield tradition, what's your message and theme heading into sectionals?
I think the biggest thing we try to talk about to our guys a lot is the quality of play. Like, we feel like if we play well, then we have a chance to be competitive, and in that situation it's win and move on. And sometimes it's not going to be pretty, especially like you said, it's now getting into November. We were talking about it today because we had the Hilton match tomorrow, and there's talk of rain and maybe possibly snow and that type of stuff. And I said to them right before they left, it's good to have those problems. Like, we like to have those problems. We want to be playing. Like, I got spoiled when I was with Coach Butterworth, and we played in deep into November 3 times and got into situations where we won state championships. And that's, something that I will never forget. But I also learned a lot of lessons that we can pass on to these guys on how to be patient, not to overthink things. And Coach B was such an analytical person. Like, he always said to us, we want to be playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers. That was his statement to the guys a lot. And we want to give these guys.
John, it's a disciplined soccer. Play to your role, play to your strengths. Don't get sucked into battles you can't win. That's what Penfield soccer was to me. It was the guys that knew their roles. And there was always big squads, right? Do you have a big squad again, or is it? I mean, that was a classic. No,
it's not classic Coach B with like 30 plus guys, but it's there's 24, 25 guys that I will take any day. This group has been fantastic, whether they're a guy who's in the first 11 or a guy that's trying to push these guys in practice. We have such a competitive atmosphere in practice. Tahj and Joe both know that, our big thing is we want those guys to compete. We want them to get better, and we want we want to, we said like the games are the test situation. So we put things, we put our work in just like they do in school, in training, and build those base blocks, whether it's defensive shift or possession or transition play. So they understand the expectations. They have the scouting reports. They know what guys are, dangerous for other teams, or what we think are dangerous for other teams. And honestly, a lot of these guys these guys know a lot of the guys that are dangerous for those other teams because they play club soccer with them all the times. And a lot of the time they can say to me, hey, coach, I know this kid and I know this kid, that type of stuff. And we try to give them the best chance to play well. And that's something I learned from Coach B a long time ago, was give them the best chance to do their best and, see how things go. So those guys have done that this year. And it's not just these two guys. These guys do a great job leading. We have a core group of guys, and these guys know, and they're shaking their head, that we love to put those guys out and watch them play every single day. So we're just crossing our fingers and hoping we can keep playing well. If we keep playing well, we think we can be competitive. And that's important.
Well, I didn't look up the last time Penfield's held that brick. Do you guys know it? Or is that something you guys have talked about? What's the year?
We have not talked about it, but the cool thing, I think one of the cool things about our group, our staff, is we have a lot of guys who have that. My JV coach is a former player. My goalkeeper coach is actually a link to that. My goalkeeper coach is Eric DeHaan, who was an All Greater Rochester goalkeeper in 2010 when they last won it with Alex Swanger, was the All Greater Rochester Player of the Year.
Oh, nice tidy 10 years, guys. Nice tidy 10 years. Okay.
We're itching a little bit.
Well, I wish you all the best of luck. Tahj Mounnarat, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you
Joe
for having
Vogt,
me.
good luck to you and the Patriots. Thanks.
Thank you.
John
Thanks,
Cotsonas, it's good to see you, my man. We both got a little gray working these days, don't we?
Yeah, it's not from. I think it's more from my kids, not from these guys. But
Well,
it's all
thank
good.
you, Penfield, for being on the show. Steve, another fantastic episode. We appreciate it. And we'll be back again next week. It's the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show, brought to you by Salvatore's Pizza. Thanks for listening, folks.
Thanks for having us.